Another hour of global transmission. Taking your phone calls right now. We'll examine a bunch of global and economic news and talk to one of our guests about false flag terror. And is this the start of a launch of Operation Gladio here domestically? I believe so. The evidence points towards that. We've got a very informative guest joining us, Holland Vandennieuwenhof, coming up in the next segment. Let's go ahead and go to Evan in Pennsylvania. Evan, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going out there?
It's going all right, my friend.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm so sick and tired of these criminal pieces of trash thinking they run our lives. Didn't this used to be a sovereign nation at one time, sir?
Yeah, but we're run by eugenicists who promised to get control of food and water and poisonous, and most people are brain damaged now, and they're taking over. They're giving illegal aliens their Social Security numbers and tax IDs, letting them run up bills in our name, and then taking citizens' homes, and the IRS knows it.
Sir, it just makes me sick to no end. I'm a young man, I'm 26, and I say we tell as many people about this stuff as possible. There's overwhelming evidence that these criminals are in our face doing exactly what you're saying they are.
No, they admit it. I mean, I was told this months ago by whistleblowers and was getting the evidence together, and now it's in the Associated Press. But they're like, oh, yeah, we give the illegals cards and let them make billions of dollars, and you know, each house gets, hundreds of millions in some cases. I mean, I was reading this. It was worse than whistleblowers told me. But then it's the part about when they use a citizen's ID number sometimes, the IRS knows the citizen's innocent, but we're seen as the target schmuck, shucker, chump. And we know the police and courts are geared to savage citizens. And so then they use that to frame up the citizen and take everything they got. And now the IRS is having a pang of conscience. I mean, that is evil, man. I mean, that is just, who thinks of stuff that's diabolical?
Hey, I don't know, but let me tell you a personal experience I had happen to me. Been carrying on a daily basis up here in Pennsylvania, and I had a stop last month of 10 minutes of the Nazi police telling me that I need to give them ID. Well, I caught it on YouTube, and I got a link to it if you don't mind me saying it.
Yeah, no, everybody wearing their guns in public is so beautiful, because 5 years ago they'd beat you up. Then 3 years ago, they'd arrest you. Now they just want your ID. They're backing off. We were at Bilderberg, and protesters showed up with guns. And let me tell you, the police got real polite when that happened. And I talked to the people. They weren't provocateurs. And the media that was there didn't know what to say. Hey, folks, we run this country. Just because a bunch of child-molesting bankers took over doesn't mean we're not taking the country back. Go ahead. Tell us what happened. Tell us the YouTube.
It's Francis Penny Sack. All one word, no spaces, nothing special. And here what happened is the 10-minute ordeal of them stopping me after they already admit they'd stopped me 5 times before. And at one point, I kid you not, I have it on video, I have a cop on my left look at me and say, I said, well, shouldn't you be following the Constitution? With a straight face, he says to me, when the president follows the Constitution, I will. And then him and the other officer have a laugh about it. Isn't that
no, that's what happens with corruption. Well, everybody else is corrupt. Why shouldn't I? Okay, well, let me tell you something, cop. They're going to take your pension fund, and they're going to put fluoride in your water, which they're already doing. So you think it's fun to get rid of our protection? Go ahead and find out. It's like going out in space without a spacesuit, okay? And, good. I want to see this video. So it's your name. It's, send it to showtips@infowars.com right now, okay?
Okay, I think I did send it last month to Watson and someone else, but I don't know if they got it or not. And can you give me that one more time?
It's showtips@infowars.com.
Okay, and I'll give it out one more time. It's Francis Penny Sack.
Yeah, that's not the great way to do a video search. What's the name of the video?
Open Carry Illegal Stop.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those, but Open Carry Illegal Stop.
It's one of the biggest ones on there.
Brother, that's already. Man, I'm not putting you down. That's just, I'm giving you a tip. People always want to go www.thewebsite/ blah, 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 blah. The best thing to do is just give us the headline. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. All right, we'll be right back. More calls straight ahead. It's very simple. A technocratic ruling class has written countless books and textbooks going back 160 years ago, roughly. 1850s or so in England, the U.S., and Germany. France as well, but mainly those countries, bragging that they would build a technocratic technological control system, take control of human development, create a suboid servant class. They envisioned robots. They envisioned atomic weapons by 1900. They really laid out the whole plan. They invented computers at IBM to just track genetics. They envisioned DNA and undoubtedly had secrets the ancients already had that they've been passing forward through secret societies. They're playing God. And they see us as a disease. And they hire armies of just really nasty people that like to abuse folks for petty power trips and other reasons. And we're in a lot of trouble as a society. Coming up here in 6 or 7 minutes, we're going to get a guest on about the shootings that we've been seeing. And is this a prelude towards bigger staged events ahead of Obama signing an executive order to restrict guns? He did say last week, we can pull it up in the Hill newspaper, that he may implement everything in the Cybersecurity Act, tracking the web, getting rid of due process, internet taxes, tracking, internet IDs, internet blacklist, and banning semi-autos and online ammo sales and things. He said he may do executive order. You saw that in the news. And undoubtedly, I've looked at these. They lean heavily towards false flag. We have a government that's done these before. Don't forget Fast and Furious. It has all the classic MO. We have to look at that. That's coming up in a moment. But right now, let's go to Bryce in Missouri. Bryce, you're on the air. Welcome.
Thanks, Alex, for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I got some good news to share. I've been talking to a lot of different Christian groups and Christian people out there about what's going on. And granted, most of those people look at me like deer in the headlights, but some people kind of actually know some bits and pieces, but aren't really connecting the dots and stuff like that. So I've been just passing out this movie and actually showed it in our own Sunday school class, and it's really receiving well reviews.
What movie is that again?
Yeah, Panacea, The Cure for Humankind.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to send me a copy.
Well, I actually contacted Rob a few times, and he says he can see what he could do. And even get Pastor Mac, the guy who's been interviewed on there. I mean, he's like no other pastor out there. I mean, there's very few pastors, let's just say that are really in tune with the truth and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, and I'm getting like really well reviews and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous here. But one thing that I have noticed is that there's a lot of people out there who aren't Christian, who are more in tune with the devil's lies than the Christians are. So it's like, I think that we really need to get up there and...
Well, yeah, that's because most Christians are going to zombie churches. I appreciate your call. Most of these churches are government-run through the 501c3 and through their denominations, taken over by the National Council and then World Council of Churches. I mean, they brag about it. You're taught to be a slave. You're taught to worship tyranny. You're taught to go to sleep and wait for the rapture, and that's the end of it. While the whole world goes to hell in a handbasket, because the preachers tell us 1987 is the rapture, and 1990, and 95, and 97, and 2000, and 2010, and 2011, and 2012, and the New Agers, it's the end of the world in December, and it's never the end of the world. It's the end of freedom, the end of everything decent. Everybody's just waiting for it all to end. I'm just going to cover what's happening and what the globalists are doing to us. More than 100,000 preachers have been hired, part of clergy response team. They love it. They're little secret agents spying on their flock, creeping around. I mean, these are just despicable, un-American trash, cowardly filth, who just want to get money from the globalists, the bankers, occupation force. They're collaborators. To use a fictional account, it's like, which is based on real accounts of things that happen, it's like Red Dawn, where the mayor and the preacher are ratting everybody out. They'll stand there while we're lined up and shot and love it. They bow to evil. They're the devil's right hand. These churches are the devil's right hand. The devil's right hand. The devil's right hand. Mama said the preachers were the devil's right hand. These modern preachers. Let's go to Dave in Arizona. You're on the air. Welcome.
Yes, Alex. Worldwide transmission. How do you hear?
I'm good, sir.
Thank you. I just wanted to know if you heard Obama's latest comments. It sounded like he was talking to children, and he was saying, now we're a family, and we have this violence. We have to do something about this. And he had a lot of pauses, and he said, we're going to have to make some tough decisions as a family.
Who said that?
I could read the lines there.
Who said that?
Obama. I just heard it when I was getting off work today at 6 a.m.
Well, guys, pull up Obama's statements on guns. It was on guns, correct?
Yes. Well, You know what? He didn't say it was on guns. He just said that we're a family. We're going to have to do something about this violence, and we're going to have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if there's been a 0.1 increase in mass shootings above 5 people since 1992, Justice Department's own numbers. It doesn't matter if it's way down the list, shootings, period. It doesn't matter if cities where they've taken all the guns, like New York and Chicago, are cesspits of crime and victim disarmament and abuse. It doesn't matter. Yeah, no, he's getting ready for the executive order. He said, he said last week, I may sign an executive order banning all semi-autos. And they dream of making examples of people. I just saw the footage that a guy called in about himself in Pennsylvania with an open carry, and the cops come up with their guns, and the guy says, you know it's legal for me to have a gun. They're like, we don't care. We don't follow the Constitution anymore. And they were watching it during the break. They say, we don't follow the Constitution anymore because the president doesn't. And that's what it is. And they want the guns so the foreign banks can bring this country down. And, I mean, it's just a lawless murder crew. What about the thousands that died, Mr. Criminal President, because you shipped guns into Mexico to blame our Second Amendment, you stinking piece of trash? Go ahead. So what else did you hear Obama say? Hell, I'll pull it up right now. Go ahead.
Well, that's all I heard him say about that. But then you were also talking about race, and this almost sounds racist for me to say this, but I think I should tell you about this story. In 1989, I bought a house. I'm very white. I'm a very white person, but I bought a house in the city. I was the only white person in that house, and I was welcomed into that neighborhood so warmly, and I lived there for 13 years, and there was never any friction that I noticed. I treated them with respect. They treated me with respect. And I just think it's so racist that I have to bring this up. But that's the way you do it. You just get along with other human beings.
Well, that's multiculturalism is about getting everybody so scared of each other that no one communicates with each other. That's what this... Listen, all the modern liberals went to schools. They're all racist, including the black ones. They love it. I mean, I've seen black people talk bad about... Listen, they're pimps. They want to run broke down people. Okay, that's the bottom line here. And they know exactly what they're doing. They're experts at it. And I can't tell you how many people, when I years ago had time to do it, I would go protest abortion clinics. Yes, folks, I've done that. And people come up and say, you don't want those black babies. That's a standard deal. And I'd say, actually, there's statistics showing that there are Christian organizations that are trying to adopt even more black babies than are even being aborted. And there's way more adoptions each year than there are people giving them up for adoption. And by the way, my family adopted a unwanted Korean child from Korea. Okay, I mean, there's such a premium on snatching up all the white kids for CPS to be sold off to rich white people and others, but also globalists like to kill them. That goes on a lot. That, and it wasn't a big issue, but it's like, well, what type of child, should we try to get? Because my mom couldn't have children after me. Well, I remember talking to communities, people that were adopting Korean children. The point is that there's a huge lack of children to be adopted. People who have children and can't have anymore know how great and loving and good children are. We may adopt someday if we don't have more children. We've got 3. And I'll just be quite frank about it. I might adopt 5 children. One reason I do want to actually make some money and keep some money. I want to take care of children. I want to protect them and build them up and see them strong. And there's all these people lined up that want to adopt children. And they got black liberal groups that fight to keep whites from adopting black children. They'd rather have them chopped up and thrown in a trash can or used for medical experiments. And that's the liberal parasite black leaders, because they're not liberals. Margaret Sanger said, she said, we're going to hire blacks, we're going to call ourselves liberal, we're going to kill these people. And you know what? They kill them. They kill them good. And, you try to talk to the average, wrapped out, New World Ordered out black person and say 20-year-old male,